Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. Tonight we're gonna do a full review of an Avant-Garde watch that I got a bit ago by a French brand. That's right, we'll be looking at the Beuchat watch. So let us begin. And here is the Beuchat watch. Such a fun, cool piece. And it's crazy that I found a second watch with a seconds hand like this. Sadly, the first one I found does not work, but this one is quartz, and I actually like its aesthetic even more than the first one I encountered. It's super creative and fun and dressy at the same time. So this is the strap that it came on. It does not taper at all, and it has kind of this blunt round end on it, and it's cushioned. There's some branding here, but the highlight of this strap is this crazy buckle. So as you can see, this is not a standard buckle at all. You would put the strap in like this, and then just push it into the hole like that. And once it's tucked into this portion of the buckle, it is pretty secure. Then you would just slide it off. This buckle is really easy to use. I wasn't sure when I first saw it. Thought it might be a pain, but super easy to utilize. Looking at the case back, there's a bit of wear going on there, but we see Beuchat front and center, made in France. And when this watch was newer, it had dress watch water resistance. I'm not sure exactly how old this watch is. I'm guessing maybe the 90s. Beuchat does not make watches like this anymore. The brand is still around, but they make tool watches, they make Submariner homage type watches for pretty cheap. I think their dive watches are 200 and something. They do have a lineup of dress watches, and some of those are kind of Bauhaus looking, and each of those was under $100. However, they had 40mm case sizes. On dress watches that are Bauhaus style, that just seems a bit huge. They also have some Seiko looking dive watches, and the cool thing about their sports watch lines is I'm assuming that the different case sizes are ladies' offerings, but some of those are pretty decent sizes to be unisex pieces. So they have some dive watches in 35mm, 40mm. Some of the Seiko looking ones were at 45mm. So there's a wide variety of size going on, which is pretty cool. But it's sad that they don't have any real creative pieces like this one anymore. So looking at the lugs, they are very utilitarian. Same with the case. It's just kind of a rounded cylinder case, but it does have some bezel to it, as you can see here. And you'll notice that the crown is in an odd position, and that is kind of weird to use. I'm so used to a crown being over here, maybe down here, but up here is just a little bit awkward. So let's see what it's like to use that. You can see that the crown is small and it has flat surfaces, but no knurling or anything for grip. But being quartz, you won't be using this very often. So we'll pop that out. And you'll notice that this watch hacks. Kind of cool. So we'll turn this. The grip on this crown is not so great. It is really tough to set this. because the crown is just tiny and smooth. So that's not great, but we'll push it back in. And there goes the seconds hand. Alright, so the dial is definitely the star of the show here. So we have 3 line batten markers at 12, 3, and 9. We have Beuchat down at the 6 o'clock. And that's kind of helpful so that we are certain that this watch isn't simply put on upside down onto these straps and actually belongs this way. And we know that because of that branding. So the hour hand is silver colored, and we can see it just peeking out there. So at certain times, you only see the minute hand because it completely covers the hour hand. That seconds hand is so great. You do see a little bit of the hour hand peeking through the side there. As you can imagine, in certain lights, this is a very difficult watch to read. But most of the time I don't have any trouble. It's actually not too bad to read this watch. It has a flat crystal. You can see that it has just an ever so slight bevel to it there around the edge. There is a really subtle scratch on this crystal. You can kind of see it there. I may get some Polywatch glass that's designed for crystals like mineral crystals. And see if I can't buff that out so that the crystal is just perfect. Having a dark dial like this, scratches actually show up. So it would be cool to have a nice brand new looking crystal on this. As for the specifications on this watch, the case size is 35 millimeters. The case height is 7 millimeters. The lug to lug is 41 millimeters. The lug width is 18 millimeters. As I mentioned, I believe this is a mineral crystal on this, and I'm not sure what movement is inside this. It's a quartz piece. I'll have to open up the back and take a look at it sometime. But I have not found any information on this watch online. This particular piece doesn't even show up in a Beuchat image search. So I will have to do some digging for future videos and open up the back to see what's inside it. Alright, let's get some wrist shots of this thing. Alright, so let me take off the turquoise bay. I actually put a battery in this watch a while ago, and I even wore it for a couple days, and it actually kept running. So, yeah, it's been running for, I think, about a month now. But I still don't entirely trust it. There's something kind of loose, some kind of connection or something. But such a fun, cool watch. Alright, so let me take this off and we'll see what it's like when you're wearing the Beuchat. Here is the Beuchat on my 7-inch wrist. My wrist is 55 millimeters wide. To give some context, but this is a sweet looking watch. It's super artsy, super fun, and yet dressy. There's that crazy buckle. And like the swatch that I was just wearing, this watch actually makes an audible tick. It's much quieter than swatches though, so you may not even notice it. I kinda like when quartz watches tick. I'm weird. So I love the loud ticking of swatches. It's just kinda fun. I mean, I also like the insect-like hum of the Space View, so I am a strange person. And this is a strange watch, but it looks just amazing. Very cool. So there you have it, a super dressy, super fun Beuchat watch. It's kind of cool that the brand is still around and they're making some dressy, Bauhausy looking watches. Just too bad all those watches are 40 millimeters. Being dress watches, it'd be cool to have some variety in size, kind of like they do with their tool watches. But this watch is pretty brilliant. Thanks for watching.